Hey, good morning, everybody. So today I'm talking about chapter 1 in the book that I wrote and just recently was released to Amazon called The Era of the True Creator. And yesterday I went over kind of how this book came about, and also I went over the introduction. And I also talked about the mastery course, which I'm going to be offering in just a couple weeks. So I put the link here. Go ahead and follow that link if you're interested. It's a sort of book club with, we'll be gathering once a week and talking about the different concepts that are in the book, and also kind of having some take-home assignments and different things like that. So without further ado, let's dive into chapter 1. So chapter 1, I showed you the image of it. It is called The Game of Separation. So chapter 1 really talks about sort of where we've come from, and in our human evolution, I guess we could call it, in our journey up until now as humans together on the planet. And I present it as a sort of game because that's really how I feel it. I feel it as a play, as something that we've all been participating in. And I think that this chapter really introduces the rest of the book well, because if we don't have a concept of this life as something that we're fully in participation of, then we tend to look at everything through the lens of being a victim to circumstance, or being a victim to ascension, being a victim to being awakened and nobody else is awakened. And there's this whole story around it that we can build that oftentimes actually doesn't help us to be true creators. So I'm going to read just a little bit here on the game of separation. And the intro says, right here, the little poem at the beginning: as we listen, the whisper becomes a ringing in our ears and a loud thunder in our hearts. The awakening has begun. Reality as we have known it has been a game of separation, and in this sense we have each played our role well. No one is to blame for the forces of harm that we see and experience. Or maybe it is more accurate to say that all are to blame. All are equal in this game, and this is exactly as it was meant to be. The path of human consciousness up to this point has been to limit our experience of the understanding of only the earth plane while we are here. It has been our collective chosen view so that we could know limitation, to know the feeling of separation and individuality. We wanted to feel and push our boundaries, to understand hate, despair, attachment, emotional pleasure, and all the other states of being that are born of dualism that we have experienced, and to explore the myriad of emotions and the limits of the mental plane. We wanted to interact with and know more clearly the levels of chaos and division that can exist. As limitless creators, this is how we have created. Being on Earth has been a school that we in our higher forms, as well as other interplanetary beings, consider as a place of unimaginable growth and unique lessons. Understood from this perspective, we know that we have not fallen into the dark, but pushed ourselves collectively into the deepest fractals of separation and dualism. And in our higher forms, we agreed to, loved, and cherished every experience and lifetime here. We longed for these lessons on a soul level, and they have indeed been magnificent experiences for each of us. Nothing has been wrong, and we have not been sinning. We have simply been creating exactly as we set out to do. So again, if you're just tuning in, this is from The Era of the True Creator which is now available on Amazon. You can also get it on Kindle. And I really feel like that right there is a big revelation, has the potential to really shift the awakening for a lot of people. Because so often, maybe the awakening experiences hit us and we feel completely bowled over, and we maybe don't have an understanding of what's going on. And it can tend to feel like the world all of a sudden looks very crazy, and we don't understand why things have been going the way that they have. We may tend to think that people are doing bad things and that we are, martyrs or victims. The most beautiful thing about this chapter, I think, is that it really puts us in a place of understanding this is why we're here. This is what we've been doing. We've actually been doing really, really amazing things from a soul perspective. We've been making these discoveries. We've been experiencing separation, individuality, because in this higher consciousness form, we're one, and we experience that oneness in that pure love state. And of course, we're coming back into that as humans, but it's really interesting for us to have this experience of separation. And if we think of it as interesting and fun, then that can really change our entire trajectory and perspective as awakening humans and awakening beings. So, all right, I'll be back here tomorrow again talking about chapter 2. Again, if you wanted to join the mastery course, click on the link and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.